Greetings and salutations. Hello, everybody. This is new offer or product development number one. There'll be also a product development number two. But in this installment, what we're going to do is look at the reason why organizations should create new products or innovate, the benefits that that innovation has for the firm overall, and we'll also introduce the new product development process, which will be a series of steps. And in this video, we'll actually tackle the first two of those steps, and then we'll tackle the rest of those in the next video lecture, New Offer Development number two. So new offerings, new product development is like the lifeblood of an organization. It's a very, very important concept for-profit companies, but it's also very important for nonprofits as well, because it brings to the nonprofit a whole host of benefits. So that's what this will be about. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. All right, as we begin, we think about offer development, why firms would want to develop new products and services, and a little bit about the new product development process. So developing and managing nonprofits' products or array of services can certainly be challenging. And one of the things that managers want to do is offer new services, and this tends to generate a lot of interest and excitement within the organization. So nonprofits then, similar to for-profits, want to try these new things, new services and such out in a way to better serve their mission in general. And we can think of new products and services as contributing to the organization in a number of different ways. One way is that it better serves the needs of their clients or their market. So genuine interest in your market would suggest that you want to serve them better. So if you offer them new services and products, then you'll be doing that by giving them greater value. Also, though, for a nonprofit specifically, the introduction of a new product gives donors new reasons to give. It helps create a sense of excitement or buzz associated with them and your product, as it does with your volunteers and workers as well. So not only does a new product or service provide new revenue from donors, but it also gives employees a new reason to be excited about what's going on. It generally creates a buzz and an awareness of the nonprofit. So whenever you launch a new product, it gives you reason to toot your own horn or to advertise or promote yourself. And anytime you do that, you create awareness, and that's a good thing in the marketplace for you. So creating a buzz and awareness outside the firm is something that's one of these side effects or benefits moving forward. Finally, creating new products adds a dynamic nature from a competitive positioning standpoint. Sometimes when we are looking to compete, and I know nonprofits don't like to think of themselves as competitors, but the reality is they are. And they have competitors, and there's only a certain number of clients and donors out there. And so your nonprofit is looking to serve the limited and the finite number of donors and clients there. So if you offer a new product, then you have another reason, or a better reason, if you will, to serve them. So there are lots of reasons then. There are 5 strong reasons right here that indicate something positive that happens from product and innovation development. Speaking of innovation, let's spend a few minutes talking about what innovation means. And a key concept when we talk about new products and services is this idea that whenever you create something new, we want people to alter or change their behavior in some way. And the degree of change of behavior has a strong impact on how quickly the product or service is adopted. So we have a concept called discontinuity, which suggests that behavior can be continuous, or it can be on a scale from continuous to discontinuous. So an incremental change in behavior would be fairly easy to adopt, whereas a radical change in behavior would be very difficult for the market to adopt. So innovation can be described on a scale then from incremental to radical. Incremental innovations are one that makes small changes to existing products. So if you have a religious organization who has a 10 o'clock service and then also adds an 11 o'clock service, they're adding a new product, but the product they're adding is basically the same or similar to maybe what they've already offered at the earlier service. So it'd be easy to adopt one or the other. Radical innovations, though, usually involve big leaps in technology and create or cause radical change in the marketplace or in the industry. So this whole concept of behavioral change is tied up into this word called discontinuity, and it refers to the amount of behavioral change that's required in order for a new product to be adopted. Which then brings us up to this idea of challenges that we have when we think about adopting new ideas. So we know it's good for the firm. We know the organization benefits when new products are created. We understand a little bit about how innovations are defined. Within the organization, though, not all ideas are accepted, and the reality is not all products and services that are launched are successful. Some of them fail. And so we want to consider some of the challenges that emerge as a result of the product development, kind of within the firm, and why we want to, some red flags anyways that we want to think about. One would be if you have top managers or top administrators who really like an idea, but it's only them, and they really push the idea for a new product or service, but they don't have a lot of research or support other than themselves to say that their idea is a good one. So if we have top administrators who are pushing ideas that aren't rooted in, kind of other things in the company or firm, other support with other people, then that's a problem. Another cause for challenges that are associated with new products, poor market analysis. So if we don't do our data research, our market analysis, if we don't estimate our market size and think about how many people will actually use the product or service, then that's a bad thing. So let's say we're all excited about a new product and we think a lot of people will use it, but in reality, we only have a small number of the market who'd actually be interested in it. Well, that product's going to fail. So we don't want to fall into that trap. Poor marketing, poor planning and execution, insufficient promotion, and poor delivery or execution of the service or product. Those are issues that lead to product failure. And then also, and finally, if you create a new product, but it's not distinctly different from your competitors or what the customer's already using for their service, to solve their problem, then that's a problem. So distinctiveness of your product, poor execution and planning of the marketing elements, poor analysis of demand, and poor market the finance forecasting is a problem. And when senior administrators push an idea when it's not warranted. Be aware of these 4 cautions and be able to think about why these would hold back or cause a service to underperform. So with that said, we have a process to help eliminate these 4 problems or help minimize them if nothing else. And it's called the new product development process. Now, this is a formal set of steps or a process that's used. It's certainly used in for-profit organizations and can also be adapted to use in nonprofits as well. We want to focus on using a process that's repeated over and over again so that we can eliminate two different types of error. One type of error would be this idea of if we went to the marketplace with a product idea, but the product idea was a bad one. Remember the administrators who are trying to push an idea even though there's not market support for it? This is the problem that they run into, that we're going to the marketplace with a new product or service that's not sufficiently wanted or warranted within the marketplace. So going to market with a bad idea means that we want to screen out bad ideas and eliminate them from actually getting launched. The other issue, though, is we want to be diligent and very deliberate that we are modifying our ideas so that they're good ones, so that we can take a good idea, move it forward, develop it, and actually bring it to the marketplace. So one problem then is if we had a good idea, but we cut it off too soon, or we eliminated it prematurely. We don't want to do that either. So before moving forward, though, we want to have one solid caution, especially for nonprofits. We want to make sure that the nonprofit is focused on its mission and not solely focused on product development or new services. You're solving a problem. You're not developing products in the big picture here. Call this thing called mission creep, where we move away from our mission over time. And in this case, we're moving away from our mission in order to create products and services that do not enhance the mission. So just because we can create a product or a service, if it's not supporting our mission, then we need to be careful not to continue on with it. Okay, so moving forward, then let's look at the product development process. This is called a stage gate process, actually. It's a process where we have different steps, and once you complete a step, you move on to the next step. In this particular video, we're going to move forward looking at the first two stages, idea generation and idea screening. In the next video, in product development part 2 video, we'll look at the rest of the product development process. But we're initially looking just at these first two steps. So like a funnel, many ideas are needed to produce a single viable, successful new product. Just as an example, you might take 100 different ideas and only one or two of them may actually evolve into an actual product that becomes launched. So we want to make sure that when we're doing idea generation, we're coming up with lots and lots and lots and lots of different ideas that are associated with opportunities that we could take advantage of in either the marketplace or as a result of technology or some failure of our competitor. Hallmarks of innovative nonprofits then. So if we have like, how can a nonprofit be innovative? How can we create new ideas? One thing is we have to make sure that within the nonprofit and the organization of it, we have people who are committed towards innovation, who are innovative people. Innovative people create ideas. Innovative people create new products. So within your organization, you need innovative people, but you also need the structure and such to be able to create an innovative atmosphere. So if you think about your meetings in your nonprofit, if you have weekly meetings with faculty, with staff, with administrators, with frontline employees, are those meetings a place where new ideas could be launched? Do you have a way of recording new ideas, things of that nature? We need creative and innovative cultures and people who are innovators. We also need them, though, in the condition and the environment in order to support innovative ideas. So we need processes, we need structures, and we need a set of systems where continual idea generation happens. So for instance, do you have an idea box? Do you have weekly brainstorm sessions for new ideas? Do you have a way to capture these new ideas and record them on paper? Are these ideas kept over a period of time? Is there a depository of ideas that your new nonprofit organization has? Next, or fourth, kind of on this list, we can also notice within an organization if we have what we call a new product champion. Are there people who stand up for an idea and promote it as their own and put a lot of emotional energy behind it? So creative people create ideas. We need systems in place to motivate innovation, processes, structures. We need continual idea generation elements. And we need champions who will help move a new idea forward. So these are the key components. These are the things we need to have if we're going to do a lot of idea generation, which again is the first step of the new product development process. Where do these new ideas come from? So where should I be looking to get new ideas? Certainly your clients, your customers, your target audience, they should all be sources of new ideas. You should be listening to them and the voice of the customer, and that will provide you a lot of new ideas for products and services. Employees and staff members, salespeople are also involved in that. External research from newspapers, from trade journals, the internet. That's funny. The internet, not the internest. Collaboration or joint ventures with other organizations are often a source for new product ideas. So you may join forces with another nonprofit or a for-profit organization in part of their social marketing, campaign, and that could be a source for new product ideas. Observing, following competitors, grant makers, conferences, peer collaborators, and here's this last one. Sometimes lightning just strikes. Have you ever just had an idea and it came to you out of the blue? That's an idea. We can't manage those particularly well because we don't know when they're going to happen, but sometimes lightning strikes. You have a great idea just out of the blue. Okay, so think about, be able to list and describe a few different sources then of ideas. This is this big list, and again, just kind of use some common sense and think about where ideas come from. The next stage then, once you have a big block and kind of set of ideas, is something called idea screening. So once the idea list is generated, we need to walk through criteria that can be applied to each idea, and then we can grade the ideas and sort them in order of the most appealing to the least. Then once they are sorted, you can simply decide to move forward with the ideas that are the highest on the list. That would of course make sense. The ideas though that you do not move forward, you still keep, and you keep them in a file or in a depository of old ideas because you may very well come back to them. So we create 100 ideas, and then we screen them and we order them from the most appealing to the least appealing. Now the ones that are the least appealing, there's no way we're going to do them. But you might keep 15 or 20 ideas in the hopper where you might move them forward to the next stage to evaluate even further. But those would only be the ones that were scored the highest in terms of the screening process. We have over on the side here this little picture of things that we might look at and we may score a potential idea. We think of the customer, We think of the timing and when this is being done and if it makes good sense. We look at some rudimentary financial statements as to whether this service is something we can do financially. We look at who will be on the team and who will get it done, whether our competitors are doing, and what the actual service or product may be. Those are some ideas, but they're certainly not all the ideas we'd use for idea screening. Other things we'd look at when we're considering the screening process is, one, we would use a cross-functional team. So it wouldn't be just marketing. It wouldn't just be top management. It would be people who would make up a team from operations, from sales, from procurement, from maybe a frontline employee. So people from all over the nonprofit should be part of a group that screens the ideas for their viability and success within the company. We want to make sure we include some key decision makers so that they can lend some higher order decision making insight to the overall team itself. And finally, we list a bunch of criteria like we had on the last page. We want to list criteria that would make sense to score each idea on. So very specifically, we should be able to estimate or try to predict the size of the market and demand. We should estimate or predict the likelihood the market will adopt the product. Now, we'll do something called a concept test later. It's actually the next step if you look at the box up above there. So we will look at that in more detail. We want to think of the cost to implement and develop it. We want to think about the cost of energy, time, and effort that managers have to engage in this type of thing. The likely competitive reaction, and again, estimated loss in time, money, reputation if the idea were to fail. So the downside risk of it as well. These are also some things that we'd look at in terms of screening criteria, ideas that we would use in order to screen the product further. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. In summary, we want to think about the, kind of what we've talked about, benefits of the new product development process for the for the nonprofit organization. So lots of benefits like energizing, creating new donor bases, giving a reason to advertise and build awareness for the organization, points of pride for employees and such. These are all good reasons to do a new product or service. We mentioned the idea of incremental and radical innovation and the notion of discontinuity. Talked about reasons for new product failure, and then we walked through the first two stages of the product development process: idea generation and idea screening. So moving forward, we're going to want to look through the rest of this product development process, but this introduces product development, the product development process, and the concepts associated with it. Let me know if you have any questions. There's a lot of material here, so I know you'll want to dig into it. Re-watch the video as needed. Please take notes as well and read the associated material in the text. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.